Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. So this video now is a build for Spencer that I came up with. It's a really, like, you see, take note of the deck there and the equipment. Pause the video if you need to, but it's really like a heavy trap. There's some guns there, you can see it, the machine gun, but it's more like a trap heavy build. And there's always also the infectious zombies there to get a bit of infection. This build is focused more on winning through time than anything else. Which it seems to be the meta for me now, which is winning by time and not by, actually very offensive actions, such as downing them and whatnot. No, this it's kind of dumb, like the idea behind this build, but it just works so perfectly. It's kind of funny actually. So you'll see. I'll explain you guys what's the strategy behind it, but like also we're playing on prison now. They are pretty high level there as well, the survivors, if you can tell. So they should be able to know what they're doing. Now I think this match was before the recent patch. There's only one thing that can break this build. Well, not entirely break it, but somewhat break it. Which is Martin. Martin with his new passive on this latest update, where he can simply run over traps and not trigger them. That is the only thing in the entire game that kind of breaks this build. Otherwise, it's pretty much invincible. I don't know why, but it just is, and you'll see why. But most of the time they don't get past area 2 or 1 against this build. It's really hard. They actually never made it to area 3 against this build that I'm using. The only time I lost with this build was it's not recorded, but it was it was actually during a live stream. I was testing this build out against the squad, and the Martin just completely broke the build because he would just walk all over the traps and the traps would not trigger. And they would also, and he could also disarm them without triggering them, which is just like, it's like traps are literally, he's literally immune to traps, completely immune, and he can also disarm them, so the others are also don't have to deal with them. So that like completely breaks the idea of this build, unfortunately. The only way you could counter that is really just to I don't know, somehow hit him with a zombie, something to make him stop running, so that the traps would activate and blow him up. Now, as you can tell, like the idea, I'm just setting up the traps and the zombies. I'm gonna use them later, you'll see. But the traps, I always try to set them up under the zombies. So now you see, take note. I'm separating the explosive mines from the effect mines, such as the door and the tracking mine. I don't want to place them together because if they blow the explosive mine, the other tracking mines and whatnot, they would just blow together, without actually counting as a hit on the survivors. So it's not worth it. So that's why I have them separated. As you can tell, there's like a ton of traps there. And I also have the machine gun. You saw there at the start I was downing the Becca. This is really just buying time. You just want to buy time as much as possible. So I'm focusing on the Becca here because she's crouched, so she can't move. And you saw that they lost like 30 seconds or something. And that's because they open the door and they just walk right into it. However, this is not like, obviously the survivors are smart. They're not going to just run it like that all the time. So that's why I have the creatures, because you control the creatures, and then you keep opening and closing the doors, so they have no choice but to rush in to get past that. And when they do rush in, that's when they blow up the traps. As you can see, just like that, everyone's dead. Just simply, there's so many explosive mines that they just die. It's too much damage. But it's mostly, taking note of the time is most thing. But even if they got past, you see there's a lot of mines waiting for them there, the traps. If they step on that as well, it would be, even more time lost. But this is just an example of how it usually happens. Especially if they're together like that, is when it works the best. If they're all together in the same door. It's a very linear map, for example. Most of them are. But this is only match 1. I'm gonna show more matches of this build so you can see more variations and how it plays out. But yeah, this is just an idea. It's usually how it goes. Hopefully on the next match I'll be able to show you how to actually use the zombie, not just to block the mine, but to hold the doors as well. So guys, see you on that next video. Take care.